Yeah, he you get the rest of your people are a little bit like not afraid of him, but very cautious of him. He's quite. They
Oh
gave
yeah, like
give
by
him
the
like a
way,
shack on the edge of town to.
no, I was gonna say we're gonna like put him like closer to like the storage cave because that's where I'm gonna put my tree at first.
Oh, okay.
So basically, like the idea is gonna be that he's gonna be the guardian of my forest because no one's gonna want to go anywhere near the crazy guy.
Yep. He's like, I am the Lorax.
Yeah, so like eventually we'll build him actually like a really nice place, like a wizard tower.
Yeah, probably. Yeah, you're right. Willow is the Lorax. The Lorax will shoot a plasma.
Yeah, like so long-term goal, like Willow's definitely gonna build him like a wizard tower because like she probably read a storybook one time about a wizard that had a tower for no other reason other than fantasy, and so she's gonna build him a cool tower, but it's gonna look exactly like a tree made of metal.
Oh yes, I'm sure he will. This makes no sense. It's perfect.
Yep. Yeah, exactly. It's like this massive building. It's like warehouse sized, but he's gonna have like a pillow and like a sheet, not a full blanket, but a sheet in the corner. And then, yep, yep, yeah.
Yeah, so that was pretty good. Roll a D100.
I thought I liked Rudge. I thought it was Willow I hated.
Yeah, it doesn't like Willow. It doesn't.
Yeah,
I mean, it doesn't really like anyone specifically.
Yeah.
It specifically dislikes Willow. 28. Okay, that's not bad. I mean, it doesn't like try to bite you during that time.
Imagine
Yeah, I
this
mean,
one,
it
like
kind of like chews on your arm a little bit when you like are petting it, which you feel like it might be hard enough to like rip off somebody's like a normal person's arm, but you can't really tell honestly because it's not like damaging your armor.
I feel like that's like the moment where it's like doing that, and then like you just hear Willow calling your name from across the town. You're like, Rudge, trying to find you. You're like, oh shit, I better not see her. So, she just walks around the corner and
Like,
starts ripping your arm off. You've caught me in a vulnerable position.
All right, so in preparation for your journey to Amarillo, what do you guys want to bring, and like how do you want to get over there? Okay, I don't know if you have that.
Also known as our electronic vehicle, I think we're bringing a. I think we're gonna bring one of the big bosses because they're smaller, right? I think we're gonna paint it black.
Yep, for sneaking.
Yep, we're gonna be stealthy. And our electric, it's probably they probably didn't give us an actual like the one that looks kind of like a bug. 'Cause that's kind of what they're based off of. Is like the old souped up doom buggy kind of things.
Yeah.
But it probably looks like a freaking Prius.
I believe the one that you got was like a brownish color.
Yeah, that's probably good enough stuff,
Like,
honestly.
Base. The other one was like cherry red, which obviously is not stealthy.
Because that's one that he dropped from the sky was a cherry red one. So
Yeah.
took the other one.
Mm-hmm.
That makes okay.
Yeah,
the brown,
like brown.
the brown's probably good enough actually, because everything around here is brown, right?
Yeah, desert camo.
Yeah, that's fine. Okay, so we don't need to paint it. We got the gun mounted on the top and fixed, right?
Yep.
I think for the
And
vehicle,
it's pretty
but
easy, detachable if you don't want to do that. But
yeah. And then, so in terms of gear, so Willow's actually, let's see here. I have.
Um, yeah, probably about 2 feet. So, because it's like rifle sized. So, yeah, it seems like a pretty good amount, a good barrel length. Mm-hmm. Yep. Mm-hmm. Okay. A tree gun. Sounds good. Just got a freaking tree. Sounds good.
A remi- Just a reminder: trees are still SDC.
Yeah, it's not
Yeah.
going to do any damage, but being hit by a tree is still like mass wise. Unless they have supernatural strength.
Yeah, I was gonna say, unless they have supernatural strength, then do you guys remember the episode of Dragon Ball Z where the androids just stuck their arm out when the car went by? Because that's what happened.
Yeah, it'd be that. You're just like, a stiff piece. Yeah, there you go.
um, let's see here. Do. Yeah, I don't think Willow's gonna bring. I think this is gonna be like Willow's only gonna bring basically her armor and then her gun, backpack, and an extra E clip. I think she's gonna go pretty much minimalist.
Yeah, so the also this brings up so from your what you know about Amarillo, there's a couple things. First thing is you have a rough map of the area. And the armory you have a little bit more detailed from the Boone Squad came through here and sort of traded that information to you guys. So you kind of have a general idea of like the layout of the city, like this, napkin sketch and a couple of different points.
Okay.
You also know from him that you will probably have to either like sneak around or bullshit your way through some kind of like security checkpoint.
Yeah, like a screening probably.
Yeah, like a screening sort of thing.
Okay.
Um, and there is like identification, which obviously you don't have. If you're able to acquire that somehow, that would definitely help.
No.
I'll probably ask for your helmets to come off. The only other thing to mention is that the specific there's this place right here called the Well, which is the sort of local black market hangout where you might find some help in any activities you're planning on doing in the city, like false identification, stuff like that, for a price, of course.
So is any of this place walled in, or is it just the black that's the wall?
The black is the walls. Everything out here is just sort of rolling,
Okay.
like rural, sort of. You don't know what the exact like buildings are. Basically, all you have is this sort of top-down view sketched onto a napkin at this point. Yeah.
Yep.
Shh. the well, which is in Templetown.
Yep. Quick to go grab a drink and say goodnight to my kid.
Negative. Yeah, you could do that. Are you thinking like on that like the tip, or like have it be a giant arrow, or like I mean, you could try and put a spike on it. It still probably wouldn't do that much damage just because it's not like it. Yeah, like, right. Yeah, you want a spike ball. Yeah, that would mega damage. That would definitely hurt. Right. Yeah, I don't think it wouldn't be hard for Willow just to like make a spike out of a bit of metal. I guess it depends on how heavy you want the spike to be, because that would determine how much damage it would do. I mean, how many pounds worth of metal do you want to cram into the tip of the tree? Yeah, it should be on throwing heavy shit. Yeah. hmm
All right, I'm back.
No, I mean like it's being thrown like being shot out of just like force equals mass times acceleration, right? So like the acceleration part is what hurts the most guns, like railguns and stuff. And you're going with like the mass being the main thing. So you need it to be like ridiculously high mass for it to really hurt. I mean, that being said, if you shoot a freaking giant spear at someone, like it's probably gonna knock them over. And if it does do minor damage.
What are you talking about? Oh, for your spud gun thing. Yeah. I mean, realistically, you're better off just shrinking a piece of metal, like a pipe. Like if you took like a mega damage pipe, because I mean, you're basically creating a different version of a rail gun, but it's a spud gun, so not as good. Yeah, I mean, your best option for tree type thing would be just using it to disable something, because you could increase the mass of the tree. Yeah, I mean, this would be an interesting scenario. Oh, because Rudge stole the sewer system.
Dang it. Okay, so
That would literally take like 10 seconds to make. I mean, like, so like Will can literally like move 20 pounds of metal. I actually hold on, I think it's 20 pounds per level actually.
in like a round.
Yeah, to mold, she can do 20 pounds per level. So currently she can mold 100 pounds of material like clay at a time.
Yeah, so
So I mean, like
hard to make giant metal things.
Yeah, a ball, like a spherical ball. That'd be like rolling a snowman basically, and then adding spikes to it.
Get a bunch of scrap metal and just roll it up like a snowman.
Yeah, pretty much. Wouldn't that be like a lot of metal for like a 5 foot diameter ball?
Yeah.
That's a ton of metal. Like more than a ton. Okay.
I mean,
Take someone's car.
you could roll like small balls and then increase their mass. But it's harder to do, I know. Yeah, because you can shrink the like a ball. Yeah, if you ever find a giant amount of
I mean, don't we still have that? We still have like a wing of a plane.
Yeah, I think that was like 700 pounds of metal.
Yeah. Yeah, like we still have at least one solid big chunk of metal. We left that on purpose, actually.
A giant metal spike.
Basically, just create like a giant paper airplane for you.
Yeah, you could do that if you want to. Yeah, I don't know that plane wing. I think was just up by that old airfield.
Yep. Yeah, Willow restored it, and then we just had it sitting on the side.
Mm-hmm. Sure, yeah. So, Rudge, you can have a 700-pound javelin, size of like a, I don't know how long that would, probably like 10 feet long, pre-shrunk. Yep.
Oh, it was a 60-pound airplane wing.
Oh, 60 pounds.
Yeah, I found the notes for it.
Yeah, right. It was just a little piece of airplane.
Mm-hmm.
There was the like hangar.
Yeah, we got 2,000 pounds of metal from the hangar itself.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So you're for equipment. You're bringing your spud gun and all your normal stuff. Okay. All right. And then you're taking the big boss. Okay. Yep. So you're leaving your gun. What about your mace, your melee weapon, and your okay.
Fuck yeah, I forgot that we talked about not having them steal our tech. Oh yeah, and I said I didn't care because lasers.
Self-destruct protocol. Not quite self-destruct. My butt. Yeah.
What if he just turned on like the vacuum thing and then sucked himself into it? He's like, bye.
Like the void one. Oh yeah, I mean that's a self-destruct, all right. Well, yeah, I mean all he would have to do is turn it on and then like rotate it 90 degrees, so it's like pointed at him.
Yep.
Yep.
It'd be really fun to shoot like lasers at it.
Oh yeah.
Just to watch him disappear.
Into the abyss. Hopefully nobody lives on the other side of that.
This is some dude there catching items that Rudge throws into it.
Dang it! Keep giving me these like severed limbs and stuff.
Creatures and stuff.
Bastards throwing their garbage every which way. Okay, so you guys get ready and head out to the towards Amarillo. Which one of you wants to drive?
Willow can drive.
All right, give me a
Rudge can
automobile roll.
Oh shit! 9. Yes.
Oh, nice.
She's learned to drive cars at this point.
Yeah, you don't crash anytime. Like you don't really crash anywhere.
She's like, "Wow, that's a lot easier when I'm not following Rudge."
Yeah. It's upgraded to like just very scary, like your grandma driving on the interstate level of
yeah, pretty much.
Nice.
She's realized that if you actually push the accelerator, it goes faster. Otherwise, she's just been driving idle speed this whole time.
Oh god. Yeah, so you make your way over towards Amarillo without too much problem. Like, I think your guys are like 50 miles away from that city. No, you're 150 miles away from Amarillo. So leaving in the morning, it takes you pretty much the entire day. It's like mid-afternoon when you
actually I take that back. I'd bring a couple grenades too. I totally forgot we bought grenades for this reason actually.
Okay, yep, those are human, so it's no real issue. Yeah, so how do you want to approach the city? By default, you'd just be heading in from the west here.
Hey, Rudge, we're just gonna decide which direction we're gonna approach the city from.
Yep.
Well, seeing as we know their military is mostly on the east side as far as we can tell, minus the checkpoint and some other things, is the pastures like farmland kind of pastures?
You gather, probably, yeah.
Okay. And then up north, is that like mountainy terrain up there?
It's I mean it's kind of slightly hillier.
Okay.
I wouldn't say mountainous. There's some like canyons and small canyons and such, but that's about it.
So, Rudge, I feel like we should almost approach it from that direction, the north. Because at the very least, it might block some of their line of sight from us just driving down the road straight at them, because, again, we can't pass the checkpoints. We're going to have to... Me and you. I was thinking that, well, yeah, and, you know, zero on naturally, but... Oh, and the wasp. We're totally bringing the wasp drone. Oh, yeah, actually... Oh, we totally forgot about that. That's kind of important. Yeah, so I suppose before we left, actually, I would definitely introduce Rudge to the new Wasp drone. Yeah. Actually, like... So, if Rudge is actually around during the final creation stages of it... Yeah, I think you'd have been back, so actually she probably would have had you kind of watching over her while she's doing this. Because she's still a little unsure what exactly is going to happen. So essentially in like the final stages of her like crafting this wasp drone, which I linked the picture of. You see this just like husk of a drone just kind of sitting there, and then suddenly the eyes light up. They'd instead be a pink instead of the blue, because that's just her colors. And you would see her eyes light up as well, actually. And like you see her like look over to you like, hey, is a success, but at the same time you see the wasp do the exact same thing. And you hear her voice out of the wasp as well. But like more mechanical almost, because you know it's synthetic-y. And then like she's like, did it work? And like as she moves around you see the wasp like mimic her movements for a second before she like kind of shakes her head, and you see her eyes stop glowing, and then the wasp kind of acts independently but like still looking at its hands and stuff while she turns to you, and she's like, it worked. And then the wasp kind of stands up and takes flight, like just hovers above the ground shortly and kind of flies over to you and says, hello, Rudge. It's me. And like she's gonna scare you, and she's like, we are one and the same, and talk at the same time. That's the plan. I mean, that's not the plan. The plan is to not let that happen. Why would I lie to you, Rudge? I would never lie to you. And you see like the wasp like cross its fingers in front of your face. So it's about 5 feet long from head to toe, like head to tail. Yeah, so it's big. It's like human size, basically.
Carry a person.
Yep. So actually, she would give you a quick rundown because this is probably her time to kind of explain what her new ability is a bit, and she'd mentioned that she mentioned before that she wants to create a drone army of sorts, with the main ones being essentially extensions of herself, is what she'll kind of reveal to you now. Says, for a while now I've been having these, I would call them visions, but when I'm holding on to like electronic eyes and stuff of cybernetics and robotics, occasionally my mind kind of syncs up with them, and then I have to stop it because my power has been calling to me. But no, I have control of it. It's hard to. This is the first time I've actually done it, so it's just taking some getting used to seeing more than one thing at a time. I am Skynet. Skynet wishes it was me. No.
Plant that.
But for all practical purposes, I am it, and it is me. So, I mean, yes. Well, no, not stealth in the sense of it like it being sneaky. It's a scout drone. It's a reconnaissance drone. But when it flies a mile in the air, you can't see it. I can't fly, can you? A mile high? Can you float that high? Interesting.
You create gravity.
Yeah, I thought his thing was that he was like limited to like 20 feet in the air or something like that. I thought we. Interesting.
For the anti-grav flight, it gives you the ability to fly, manipulating gravity, max speed 20 miles an hour, effectively unlimited altitude, but traveling over 30,000 feet without a spacesuit, you die.
Yeah.
Which you have an atmospheric suit, so
Yep.
technically you could fly to space in that way if you wanted to. Well, yeah, I mean, like, you can get to space, but then you're like, all right, I'm in space.
And I just picture Rudge doing that one day just to see what happens.
Just for a couple hours, it's like, I am so fucking bored.
Yep. You start playing. You open up like solitaire on your heads-up display, and soap again. Yeah. We'll make up rules.
Yeah.
But no,
yes, you can fly.
That's good to know. But no,
Not
these
as fast as
these drones have multiple capabilities. Oh yeah. Yeah, no, we absolutely could. Well, no, I have two concerns about approaching the city in general. We have no idea what kind of sensors they have, and if we're airborne, they might see us as an aircraft if they have sensors. Also, because we're both wearing environmental suits, we do give off minor energy signals. So, if they have a pinged radar, they can sense us. Just like my drone here, I can track us. But my idea that I actually was going to say is if we approach from the north where there's like the hilly terrain, it might block line of sight well enough to where we could ditch the vehicle somewhere in the hillside and then just trudge it and, float essentially near the ground. Yep. At the very least, if we're up on the hills, maybe we can get a little overview of what the town looks like for real. Not just napkin drawing.
Yeah. Okay, so approaching from like this direction, or do you want to go the extra mile, like loop way around to come?
I wasn't zoomed up enough.
Go up here.
Yeah, I was gonna say if looping up is actually feasible terrain wise, I'd do that.
It would take you maybe like an extra hour.
Yeah, we'd just do that. Just to.
Also, well, as you approach, are you gonna have any like aerial surveillance, or like you're gonna have your Wasp drone fly up there to?
My Wasp drone will be high up.
Okay.
So the Wasp drone's official sensors are about a mile, so he won't fly over a mile high.
Okay.
Has full sensors up to a mile, similar to like robot tracking. So I can simultaneously track 21 targets at a time. So.
Yep. Okay. So in that case, you spot this western watchtower here before you can even see it on the ground with the drone, and it is pretty tall. Like it's 100-foot tall, like
it's a true tower
type thing. And from the looks of it, it is. I mean, it's a watchtower, so it's got a pretty good lay of the land from like the western approach.
Yeah.
You'd say like it can probably see everywhere on this like side here.
Yeah.
Pretty easily. So you definitely want to go up from the north and do that roundabout loop just not even be within visual range of that tower.
Perfect. Yeah, that's definitely what we do.
The hilly area. And then the second thing is how close do you want to try and get with your APC coming in from there? Because
I wouldn't try to get very close. I think it'd be drop the as soon as we find a good spot where we could actually just like hide it.
All right. Yeah, I mean, there's like some sort of dried out riverbeds and stuff. That's what most of this is.
Yeah, we'll just anything where we can like cover it with some brush.
So we'll say just like the edge of the map right here.
Okay.
sick and simplicity. That's probably like the point where you're like, all right, we're close enough. You can, if you go up on a rise, you can see that tower up there.
Okay.
And you can also probably see the central spire of Amarillo if you're like up above the edge of the riverbed that you're driving along.
Okay.
So you get there, and yeah, your vehicle is stowed there. You're able to hide it without too much trouble. You said just stick some bushes on top of it or whatever. So, as of right now, you're pretty confident that nobody has seen your approach. How would you like to proceed from here? Okay.
We would like to just copy and paste all of our last action.
Just going for like general foot stealth into the more urban area.
I would say it would probably make the most sense if possible. We'd probably do like some light levitating flying over a good chunk of the terrain, so that way we're not tripping any potential ground sensors.
Like how far above the terrain?
Not high, just a few feet.
Okay, yeah. Just like go horizontal, basically.
Yeah, just something so we're not physically touching the ground and or pressure plate.
And then
Yep. Definitely see that Willow is like you every once in a while catch Willow like probably like during the process of like her transitioning to like having her senses kind of separated but her knowing what's going on. You probably just hear her calculating random numbers every now and then for no apparent reason. Yeah, basically like she's calculating. Yep.
Okay, so then in this approach, what is the wasp doing?
So the wasp will probably actually hang back more near the vehicle and just keep scouting over there.
Okay, so just remain at like a mile altitude and
yeah, give or take. I mean, like if there's any like terrain where it could even appear to be semi-natural, like if there's like wooded area, it would float around there. If there's not any wooded area, it would just stay high in the sky. Then probably
like shrubs.
Yeah,
that's about it.
Yeah, I mean, it can make some like just generic like
shitty little trees.
Yeah, like the idea is that it would probably try to act like more. She'll try and act natural, like what she thinks a wasp would do, but she's not very into biology.
Right. So it just flies around.
Yeah, she just flies around every now and then, like lands for a few seconds. It's a wasp, so she'll just stab some things for funsies. Because fuck wasps.
Yeah, so the general terrain around here, as you guys make your way up, it's like sort of a riverbed type area, and around the city, it goes from just sort of like scrubby wilderness with some like intermittent trees and like desert area to pretty much like barren open. It looks like they made a conscious effort to like clear out any like cover from around the city. This direction, there is a bit of cover from the watchtower, but there are definitely points when you have to kind of like skirt across and be a little bit more careful. Yeah. So why don't you guys both give me prowl rolls, which I believe is unskilled for both of you.
It's super depressing because, so I rolled a 15.
Yep.
But my armor gives me negative 15 penalties. So that's actually a 30, which is a fail.
Oh, okay. Well, I mean, it's still decent.
Yeah.
So, untrained. D100. Wow, nice. I don't.
If you're wearing environmental armor, you probably have at least a -5 or 10, depending on how heavy your armor is.
You have the lighter version.
Light is usually like 5 or 10. Like that's
so
kind of
you
the.
still succeed with that 5. Yeah, it's minus 15%. Oh no. Oh yep.
Damn, some fancy armor there.
Yep. It's your super suit.
Makes sense.
All right, yeah. So you guys, surprisingly enough, do a decent job sneaking in.
You forgot to roll for a 0.
Oh yep.
I know, same team, but I just picture him like.
He is mobile, right? Like you can only do that on objects, correct? Well, yeah, but we I think we talked about this last time. We consider animate, inorganic things to be alive, quote unquote. Oh, yep. He is animate. His IQ is 16, so that's your target number. Okay, so not a success, but not terrible. Yep. So you guys head out, and you get to like the edge of the oil fields, what your napkin map is marked as, and it, yeah. But yeah, it has those. It's just a bunch of like oil rigs and refineries and stuff, which I don't know. You guys probably would recognize the basic concept of that. I doubt that. Yeah, like a sort of mineral type thing. I doubt that either of your cultures have used like fossil fuels in a very long time, but. Yeah, so you recognize that there are a bunch of like greasy worker types walking around here, and as you kind of like try and look for a good way to like sort of get across into the more like person inhabited area, you definitely see a couple of the workers have like spotted you and are giving you curious looks. It's like, what are these like people in like fancy armor doing, walking around here, sort of thing. So none of them
The
approach.
robot's new form, and we're the guards.
You definitely know that several of the workers have spotted you.
I mean, if we act like we own everything and don't look out of place, then they'll believe us, right? Well, it just feels so bad even just saying that out loud.
Act casual.
Yeah.
As you head into the.
Willow was a grease monkey. And she realizes people like you exist.
So you do make it across the oil fields without anybody like approaching you, trying to bother you. And oh yeah, I guess I should describe the walled part of Amarillo as you kind of approach. And yeah, it does very much give you the feeling of like the feudal village in the shadow of the lord's castle sort of thing. Like Let's see. It's evening. No, the sun is to the west right now because it's evening. No, morning. This place would definitely cast a shadow on the village peasants. All in all, it does strike you as a fairly clean village. If anything, like you get to the road here, and it's like a nice paved road. And there is, unlike most of the other settlements you've encountered, there's no vestiges of past civilization here. It's all been torn down, paved over for fields or pastures or the like. So you have some sort of rustic architecture around here of scattered buildings and stuff. The occasional like stone or concrete building, and a couple of like clusters, notably the one right here, which you assume is Tumbletown. And a couple of other like large buildings kind of near the gates of this place. This is a very impressive like bastion. Like there's a ring of like this sort of slanted concrete walls, and then an inner ring that is taller than that, and then a spire at the center that's even taller than that. That probably has a very impressive panoramic view from the top.
It's all right.
You do see like turrets at the gates, and like gun batteries on the walls further up. So it's definitely a fortified position.
Something Willow is curious about: is there any aircraft in the air? Because we've heard about them having their flying Death's Head transport.
Yeah, actually, as you come in, or like as you're coming in, you see like sort of off in this direction that with a faint like sort of roaring sound, there is one of those things you recognize as a Death's Head transport, kind of flying in from this sort of like northeastern direction and going down to land at the opposite side of the wall, which you assume is by the airfield.
It's so far away, but Willow would totally try and take pictures with her remote.
You do also see like around the walls there are a couple of like black clad armor figures riding on like hover bikes and stuff.
Okay. That's what